Today we are taking a look at Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen. This is the Sukuna in the Figurism Alpha line by Sega. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, powerful sorcerers battle terrifying curses born from negative human emotions to protect everyday humanity. The story centers around high school students who master cursed energy, navigating dark conflicts filled with intense, high-stakes combat. Operating from the shadows, these groups manage dangerous supernatural incidents, keeping their violent struggles hidden from public view. Sukuna is the undisputed king of curses, an ancient and overwhelmingly powerful entity who shares a body with the protagonist. He remains a central antagonist whose terrifying strength and unpredictable nature pose a constant threat to all characters involved. Today's highlights for this figure are the jagged torn costume edges, the realistic modeled dirt spots, and the curved effects. The torn costume edges feature jagged, irregular cuts that curl outwards with thick rims across the carefully sculpted upper torso. The exposed skin underneath immediately connects to the jagged fabric boundaries, reading naturally as authentic damage sustained during the fight. That strength carries into a strong sense of realistic damage, pairing perfectly with the dark fabric texture across the outfit. The wide area of exposed skin shows mottled dirt spots, tracing along the knuckles for a realistic rustic effect. Tattoo lines circle the wrists underneath the dirt, framing the powerful hand pose and maintaining the battle-worn illusion. Giving the figure an intense, worn appearance, this successfully portrays a mid-battle condition that adds depth to the presentation. Red to orange translucent effects curve around the body in an expansive arc, pushing the sense of motion outward with hooked tips. These thick pieces wrap powerfully around the dynamic core pose to sell the visual impact, extending the fierce fighting momentum. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. Starting with the head, short, sharp spikes rise prominently from the roots to create an aggressive initial impression. The layered steps near the roots create substantial volume and depth across the top, grounding the dynamic hair structure firmly. The matte pinkish-white base color provides a solid foundation, ensuring the dramatic shapes remain easily readable without distracting light reflections. From there, it moves through the dynamic facial tattoos, tracing along the brow and cheeks, successfully framing the upper face. These stark black lines divide the facial planes clearly, drawing immediate attention toward the deeply pressed eyes and furrowed brows. The eye print features sharp pupils paired with a defined lower lid shadow and a fierce gaze looking straight ahead. The matte finish ensures the bold red eye color remains piercing and vibrant across the carefully shaped face. Moving lower, the expression is defined by a wide-open, screaming mouth that commands immediate attention from the front angle. The sculpt reveals the individually defined teeth alongside physical depth inside the dark cavity, perfectly selling the intense mid-scream expression. This deep mouth cavity creates a distinct darker area, adding substantial visual depth to the face and enhancing the aggression. Uniting the radiating hair, sharp tattoos, and deeply sculpted mouth, the entire head visually yells with incredible raw power. Moving lower, the upper body is covered by a dark top that features multiple torn holes exposing the skin beneath. The torn edges curl outward with thick rims, while the inner edges show depth that reads wonderfully as authentic damage. The exposed skin under the torn clothes connects seamlessly to the jagged fabric edges for a highly natural battle-damaged look. This wide area of exposed skin shows mottled dirt spots, tracing along the body for a realistic rustic textural effect. Smooth matte skin contrasts sharply against the rough torn fabric edges, pulling the focus directly toward the torso center. The shoulder and sleeve edges avoid perfect straight lines, featuring irregular waving and cuts that keep the battle-worn theme consistent. Both arms raise outward to the sides, bending sharply at the elbows to project a dynamic casting or striking motion. The fingers spread wide with curled tension on one hand, emphasizing the aggressive energy coursing through the upper body pose. The other hand mirrors this exact tension, opening the palm forward to forcefully direct the attacking momentum outward. Two dark, thin tattoo lines circle the wrists underneath the dirt, framing the powerful hand pose and maintaining the battle-worn illusion. The fingernails are painted dark, working with the segmented knuckle joints to emphasize the physical strain just before a strike. Dirt-mottled skin spots stand out clearly against the solid dark cloth, maintaining the rough battle-damaged feeling entirely down both arms. The torso leans heavily forward into the action, throwing the character's weight dramatically toward the front of the sculpted area. From there, it moves through the solid dark colors of the outfit that anchor the upper body without harsh glare. Every torn edge and dirt spot aligns perfectly with the raised arms and leaning torso, creating a cohesive action moment. Continuing down, the fabric drops vertically along the extended leg, providing an excellent visual contrast to the bunched forward knee portion. This ensures the fabric sharply divides its flow, gathering tightly at the knee while dropping straight down the extended leg. The weight-bearing leg steps heavily forward with the knee bent high, pushing the aggression forward and establishing the primary momentum. Supporting that, you also get the free leg extending straight back to effectively anchor the remarkably wide and powerful stance. The bottom edges of the pants appear as thin, flat lines, defining the outer boundary where the strong motion finishes. The footwear consists of striking red traditional shoes, providing a notable pop of vibrant color against the dark clothing elements. The shoe opening features a raised rim, while the sole presents a visibly thick layer, giving serious structural presence. The figure employs a grounded stance characterized by an aggressive forward lean, anchoring the attack and selling the raw weight. Moving outward, red to orange translucent effects curve around the body in an expansive arc, pushing the intense sense of motion outward. These effect parts feature sharply hooked tips pointing away from the core, visually extending the velocity of the forward step. Thick effect blocks surround the entire lower area, amplifying the visual footprint without confusing the primary read of the legs. The dynamic curves of the fiery elements contrast well against the straight geometric lines seen across the lower leg garments. The broken rubble base firmly anchors the intense action scene, framing the posture within a tangible, exciting battlefield context. This figure is approximately 23 centimeters tall. That's about 9 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Sukuna in Figurism Alpha by Sega stands out for its jagged, torn costume edges and incredible battle-damaged skin details. The short hair bundles stand up and radiate outwards from the roots, layering with thickness to match the fierce expression. Dynamic facial tattoos trace along the brow and cheeks, framing the deeply pressed eyes and emphasizing the frightening forward gaze. The wide-open mouth reveals the teeth and physical depth inside the dark cavity, effectively capturing the screaming volume. The exposed skin under the torn clothes connects seamlessly to the jagged fabric edges for a wonderfully natural battle-damaged look. Exposed skin shows mottled dirt spots tracing along the knuckles and finger joints for a realistic rustic effect. 2 tattoo lines circle the wrists underneath the dirt, framing the powerful hand pose and maintaining the battle-worn illusion. The waist fabric sharply divides its flow, gathering tightly at the raised knee while dropping straight down the extended leg. The weight-bearing leg steps heavily forward with the knee bent high, pushing the physical aggression forward alongside the reaching arms. The shoe opening features a raised rim, while the visibly thick sole layer gives the feet serious structural presence. Red to orange effects curve around the body in an arc, expanding the sense of motion outward with sharply hooked tips. The broken rubble base firmly anchors the intense action scene, working alongside the sweeping effect parts to solidify the atmosphere. Every element, from the torn clothing and dirt to the expanding effects, focuses on expressing the ultimate impact and velocity. Because of that, fans of Jujutsu Kaisen or Sukuna will definitely enjoy this piece. With that focus, collectors who appreciate battle damage and dynamic sculpt dynamics should find it a worthy addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.